Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on our webinar today. Like I said, this is about integrating your store. If you have a store online on some sort of platform, this is a great webinar for you. You know, if you want to be able to get your order details pulled automatically or map your products for easy ordering, etc. This is the webinar for you so that you can integrate and or connect your store with us. So for today, I will first be going over direct integrations with Shopify as well as Etsy. And then I'll also go over how to connect your store with ShipStation if you do not use Shopify or Etsy as your selling platform. And of course, I will end a little bit briefly with the connecting, how the settings that's related to your connected store as well, because it's different without it, with just a regular store versus an integrated store. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let me share my screen. Okay, so I'm just going to check in briefly with Lindsay and make sure that she can see my screen. All right, sounds good. So let's go ahead and get started. Um, Just as a little housekeeping, as you guys can see, we have a brand new website, both on the front end as well as the ordering end. So if you have a account with us in our old legacy website, you will need to register for a new account, even though you already have an account in our legacy website. So that's just an FYI. Let's go ahead and log into our account. So once you're logged into your account, you know, it could look different than what I have here. We've had several webinars in which we use this as examples for demos, and for our samples as well. But in your case, you may not have any orders on your list, or you may have different orders on your list. But in this case, we're just going to talk about integrating your store. So once you log into your Lumaprints account, you'll just go to stores here on the left bar. And as a first start, we're going to go ahead and connect with Shopify. So you just click that new store button on the top right and select Shopify and click next. And all that you need for Shopify is your Shopify store URL. And where to get that is once you log into your Shopify store, which I have here, all you have to do is go to the settings gear on your bottom left, and you should have your Shopify URL. So just go ahead and copy that, go back to Lumaprints and copy and paste it in. That's Control V or right click, paste in. Just make sure you don't include those HTTPS colon or slashes as well. It has to look exactly like what is in the example right here. So just the name of your shop.myshopify.com. Next. So we'll bring you to a pop-up page where you'll have to just approve our application onto your Shopify store. You're more than welcome to take a look at this information, but all you have to simply do afterwards is just click install app. And now it's been successfully integrated. And that's it. Pretty simple for Shopify itself. And after Shopify, I'm going to go over Etsy as well and ShipStation. And then afterwards, I'll talk about like the store settings as well. But as you can see, it's pretty quick when it comes to Shopify. Now for Etsy, it's very similar. We'll just go to New Store, click Etsy, and click Next. Now with Etsy, if you're not already logged in, it's going to prompt you to log into your Etsy account. And then afterwards, you'll have a similar to Shopify, you'll have to just approve the application itself. So I'm just scrolling down and reading this information and just grant access. And just like that, my Etsy store has been connected. Really quick. Now, of course, we do have some customers, and you yourself, if you're listening, you may not have Shopify or you may not have Etsy, and you could be on other platforms like WooCommerce or Amazon and so forth. And that's totally fine. You can still connect your store with us. However, the difference is that you'd have to connect it via ShipStation. So just FYI, ShipStation does have a monthly charge as well, but it's a way for you to connect your store directly to us on Lumaprints if you're not using Shopify or Etsy. So in order to do so, let me go ahead and go onto our ShipStation account. This is how you can add your account onto ShipStation. Once you create a ShipStation account, you just have to go on the top right, Gear Settings logo, go there, and then under Import Orders, you just got to go to Store Setup. And then here under Store Setup, you just want to click on Connect the Store. And you'll see you'll have many different types of marketplaces. I know some of you guys use Big Cartel, BigCommerce, etc. And each of them actually has their own rules on how to connect onto ShipStation. So for example, WooCommerce, if I were to click on that, you'll see that they have a step-by-step instructions on how to connect your WooCommerce store. So you just have to follow the instructions there to connect it onto ShipStation. And I go back. And in our case for the demo today, I will do our Shopify store because that is what we have already. Um, and so for here, it's kind of simple with Shopify. They also just need the domain itself. So like what I got before, I'm just going to do this for the purpose of this demo. And I'm going to click connect. And then similarly, ShipStation's going to ask to install the app, just your permission, and I'm sure they would do the same thing for like WooCommerce, Big Cartel, etc. So you just want to agree to that. Okay, now that my store is connected, I can just go back to the gear section and store setup just to make sure that I have that. I had this as an example earlier, so I just want to set my store to active. This is just more for myself because before the demo, I did set it to inactive. So just setting that to active, it would do that automatically for you, of course. Now, in order to get your ShipStation account into Lumaprints, you just have to simply click ShipStation and next, and then it will ask for your API keys. And here you can get it in the settings as well. We kind of give an example here of where to go, but it's pretty simple. I'll show you now. You just go to your settings on the top right corner. Under account, there is API settings. So just go there and you have your keys on the bottom, which I'm gonna, oops, quickly copy and paste over. May have an extra space. Yes, make sure there's no spaces in between your keys. That's usually what happens when none of your stores pop up. So let me make sure that's the case here. There you go. So if you have multiple stores in your ShipStation account, once you put in the keys, it should pop up all the different stores, and then you can select the store that you actually want to integrate with us. In this case, it's the Whimsical Animal Store. So I'm just going to select that and click Next. And there you go. So now I have connected a Shopify store, I've connected an Etsy store, and I've connected a ShipStation store. So those are the three different store integrations that you could utilize for your store, depending on the platform that you're using, of course. So that's it about integrating, how to integrate a step-by-step instructions on how to do so. If there's any questions right now, you guys are welcome to unmute yourselves or share it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to go briefly onto the settings, the store settings, which is slightly different from a standard store settings. We're all good, Lindsay? Perfect. Alrighty, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the store settings because they are, like I said, different from a standard store, mainly because there's additional options when you connect your store as well. So in either one of these, I'm just going to select one, in this case, a Shopify store. Here you have your store details as well, which is automatic. It just pulls it in, but there's other details like your address as well that you would like to put in. You go ahead and save that. And that would be also your default billing address if you'd like. But what's different with an integrated store versus a standard store is this order submission automation option. So you could select either manual, in which you just push the orders yourself. Once you log into Lumaprints, you go ahead and just push the order yourself. Another option is automation, in which the order itself, when it comes in, you can delay the time point in which the order is then going to process by itself. You can do it in minutes, or you can do none at all and have it automatically processed. So that's just an option. And with the automated option as well, you could select your production time. In this case, there is regular next day and same day production. Of course, if you do next day or same day, that will incur a fee for each product. And then last but not least, you would also select your shipping option. So you can choose the cheapest across all the carriers, the shipping carriers, or if you have a preferred carrier, you can select them as well over the other. And then when it comes to automated orders, if you do submit that or you would like to use that, I would recommend you actually toggling on all of these options so that you would get an email as to why a certain order isn't able to push through. It could be because a product you have hasn't synced. It could be because there's not a suitable shipping method. Say, like one of the orders that have been ordered was a super, super large product that none of these carriers can, carry. We would let you guys know as well. If their shipping address is empty, so maybe whatever we pull from your order from Shopify, Etsy, or ShipStation that doesn't include a shipping address, then of course we'll reach out to you before pushing the order through. And then lastly, insufficient credit. So in order to use the automated option, you do need a store credit in order for us to pull that order in. So if you don't have enough credits, store credits, then we won't be able to complete your order as well. Everything else here is pretty standard to a standard store setting. That is, you can include your store logo if you want this on the back of your canvases. And then store printouts are the ones that are printed out with every order. If it's like a standard thank you note, that I think Lindsay had a great information about that on her last video as well. So it's just a standard thank you note or whatever note you want to give. If it's like a general coupon code you want to give to all your customers, you could use this as well in every order that comes in. They can also print that out. So that's the difference between a standard store setting and an integrated store setting. There is the option for automation. But like I said, in order to trigger automation, you will need to add credit to your store, which you can do via the wallet here in billing. And another thing that you do have to do to make things go automatically is you have to, of course, sync your product as well. So in order to do so, you can just go to Manage Product here in your store settings or store page. And I believe I shared this, and also I believe Ken shared this as well before, but I can definitely go over it again. But as you can see, we did have these two products on our stores, and it pulls it in once you integrate, and all you have to do is map the product. So you can just go to View Product Variants, and you can map each of the product. So in this case, I can map the 18 by 24 size, the 24 by 32 size, and the 30 by 40 size. We went over this in like one of the earlier videos, but I can show an example of one once again here. But what this allows you to do when you do trigger automation is that if somebody orders an 18 by 24 or 24 by 32 or 30 by 40, whatever variation you give, you've already set the product up. That is why it's called map product. You've already mapped the product in which once the order comes in, we know exactly how the product is set up, and therefore we can push the order through. So let me go ahead and drag my hipster cat image. In this case, it was a 1.25 for this particular study, and then it's an 18 by 24 variant, which I'm just going to select here. Okay, and I think I would like a mirror wrap instead. Kind of my image has an air mirror wrap to it anyway. And then I'm just going to click map product. And now that's product is mapped. So now if somebody and if a customer of yours goes into your store and they purchase an 18 by 24 sized canvas of this image and you have the automation triggered in, this should be able to push through automatically on our end. Of course, with the added wallet credit that you have in your store. And so, yeah, you could do that to all your other products as well. Again, it should be pulling in any products you have on your actual platform, and you can map it ahead of time. So when you trigger the automation process, you can push the orders through automatically without you having to log in and do it yourself. So that is how you can map your product. And I think that is all that I have here in terms of specifically how to integrate your store step by step. We did that with Shopify, we did that with Etsy, and we also showed you how to do that with ShipStation. And last but not least, I went over the store settings itself so you know exactly what to expect or how to trigger on the automation. And then I also ended briefly with how to map a product to prep your products for automation. We did get one question in from the RSVP. Katrina did ask, can you guys still print from PDF? So we do not have that option as a file type. We actually don't recommend it. But what's great about PDFs is that you can also export them as image files anyway. So once you can, please export them as a JPEG and a PNG, and those are the file types we can upload for you. Okay, so is there any other questions that anyone has?
Hi, just a follow-up to that question. So if we sync our library, because I saw that was an option, then all of the PDFs that were in my library will not be there.
Correct. Yes, we double checked with our dev team, and yeah, unfortunately, those would have to be re-uploaded as a JPEG or a PNG.
Okay. And just at like 300 PPI still would be fine, or
Yes, that's totally fine. For
okay.
Canvas, it's actually minimum is 200 DPI, but yes, for paper prints, we recommend 300 DPI.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, just as some background about why we don't accept PDFs in the system is that there's generally more issues processing PDFs accurately, like text falls out or like certain layers fall out, and it results in a lot of like incorrect images a lot of times, which is why we had to make the decision to not support PDF just because it created a lot of customer issues at the end of the day. JPEGs are a lot safe. Like JPEGs usually come out as is, which is why we recommend or we take JPEG and PNGs at this point.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I understand. It's easier for the image to just be there.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for understanding, Katrina.
No problem.
Awesome. So thanks, Ken, also for that input. Let's see, we have one more. Is there a way to set up products beforehand in the library without creating an order? So that is what Tovo asked. Tovo, it's kind of like a same way. I believe if you save a product, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, I'm not sure if our dev team Raymond is in here, but is this Tovo, just to make sure, is this um without setting up your store, like if you were just manually creating your order? Because what I showed here is with actually having a store.
Yeah, I think you have to have a store created first, no matter what, but we are looking towards building a mass sync option where where you can just upload a Excel sheet and have all the product mappings in Excel sheet, and then it'll pre-map everything. That's in the works. But I don't think that's not something that can be done yet.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
So,
Okay, great. Anything else, Lindsay? Thanks for pointing that out for me. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing and start my video, guys. And yeah, so that should be it, a step-by-step instructions on how to integrate your store, whether it's the direct integration with Shopify, Etsy, or even through ShipStation if you have other platforms. Those are just a bit of a more in-depth instructions on how to do so, since we know that there's been some changes and some people are just want to know how to do it. And yeah, if you guys have any additional questions, if there's none that you have here today, we have an incredible customer service team that's there to help you guys out, whether it's through chat or through calls or through email at contact@lumaprints.com. Feel free to reach out and they'll be able to help you as well. If there's any feedback that you guys have regarding the new website or any feedback or what you'd love to see from this webinar as well, please feel free to share with us through an email. Same email, contact@Lumaprints. We'd love to hear what you guys have for us. And yes, like Lindsay has provided for me. She just wanted me to remind you guys to please like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as our other socials, which that includes Facebook and Instagram. There we will always upload our webinars, and we will always upload other things as well in our Instagram and Facebook. So we'd love to see you guys there, and we'll see you guys on the next one. We'll go ahead and pause for a bit if you guys have any last questions. But until then, we'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.